Good afternoon, everyone. Now, would you like to listen to the professor? So when Martin invited me, we had a couple of Zoom calls, almost 3 weeks back. Thanks to Arnav for introducing me to Martin. And then, I knew about this conference when the Ministry of Commerce once mentioned about the conference being held for the first Lateral Diamond conference in Dubai. So, met Arnav, and later we had a couple of meetings with Martin. I did ask him, why me? Am I going to be an odd man out? Because among businessmen, among entrepreneurs, and here is a university professor working a lot, of course, on diamond. Then I thought I could probably talk about something beyond the gem quality part of diamond. So I thought about it, and you see the name lab-grown diamond, LGD. It is not LGDD or LGGD. It's not lab-grown gem diamond, right? So the lab-grown diamond has much more to it than just being a gem quality material. So as you can see from the affiliations that I have, of course I teach in the Department of Physics, and we have a convex center of excellence for diamond and emerging materials, which means diamond is also a quantum material. And I also belong to a center that deals with nanoparticles of diamond. And this diamond in its nanoform has fantastic applications in biomedical applications. And I thought that this short presentation is certainly going to be useful for the next generation of most of you sitting here to venture into exploring various other aspects of diamond. So, the last affiliation there, India Center for Lab-Grown Diamond, tell about it a little bit. This is a center that the government of India has asked us to establish with a decent amount of funding, where we will develop processes to grow diamond using CBD and HPHT methods. There's a lot to it. I'll talk about it in a few minutes from now. So we call diamond the ultimate material. We call it an engineering or science material, and it's wonderful. So you see the 6 applications that I put over there. Diamond, of course, is a great gemstone, most valuable gemstone, and that's only 1/6 of the story. So if you are looking at a huge market potential of diamond as a gem quality material, but then that's only 1/6 of the story. When you look at other applications, it's a diamond can be grown as a crystal. That's where we call it as a gem quality crystal. But I can also grow diamond as a flat layer coating, right? So those coatings are called thermal spreaders. For most of the electronic applications, you need diamond and silicon or silicon diamond on diamond. See, we are using our laptops, mobile phones, and iPads throughout the day. And where is the heat that is generated going? You need to dissipate this heat away. So you need thermal sinks, thermal spreaders. And diamond, of course, is a total insulator. It doesn't conduct electricity. But then its thermal conductivity is 5 times more than that of copper. We know that copper is a very good thermal conductor, also a good electrical conductor. But diamond being an insulator, its thermal conduction is far, far better than any of the metals that we know of. So all future electronics are going to integrate diamond into their circuits in order to deal with the enormous amount of heat that is generated. And the second one, the third one from the top, is diamond for optical windows. Right? That's a big challenge, of course, to get large area pieces of diamond, and lots of applications as optical windows. Then I go to the top left application, machining and cutting tools. And diamond coated on machine tools for defense applications, space applications, enormous potential to improve the lifetime of machine tools. You know, for aerospace applications, you need very precise drilling and machining, and even the hardest of tools wear out within no time. And industry cannot afford to have downtime. So that's where they want coatings on these diamond tools, and then there is no better coating than using the diamond. Diamond is the hardest material there. Okay. And then you have diamond for electronics. That's going to be the most important application of diamond, where you know, if I came to know of a few numbers from the government of India when they approached us, they said, look, we want to make India as #1 producer of diamond, and they want to see a market potential from today going to $50 billion by 2040. But I told them that if you also consider diamond as the next generation electronic material, there the market potential is close to $350 billion. Right? That's amazing. And you see the last one, the blue one there, quantum circuits. I think most of you, the youngsters sitting here, in another 15-20 years, you will certainly see a quantum computer, where once you have a quantum computer, the computational power would increase by 1 billion times, but then countries are spending billions of dollars investing into quantum computing. So what is the basic thing that is required for a quantum computer? Again, diamond. You have superconductor-based quantum computing qubits, but then these computing entities have to be cooled down to very low temperatures. That means imagine you have your computer, you have a huge computational power, but then you need to cool it down to very low temperatures. But we need room temperature devices, room temperature central processing units. That's where again diamond comes to our rescue. So I take a pure form of diamond, and I was also told that the most popular color that everyone would like from diamond is the pink color. And how do you get pink color? You replace some of the carbon atoms and replace them by nitrogen. Nitrogen is an impurity. So that means you're creating some defects in crystals. So after all, defects are not so bad. So along with the nitrogen, if this nitrogen pairs up with a vacancy, that means a missing atom, you have a quantum bit. And it does two purposes. One is it gives you the pink color, and second, that entity is a quantum bit which can be used for quantum computing. Okay? Now you see that what our group has been doing for the last 2 decades is something very interesting, from basic science point of view to many industrial applications. So we started with diamond coatings, we still do, as hard coatings for many industries. And also defense. And as you can see, the other application, diamond is used as a thermal spreader. And at the bottom, the application shows that diamond coatings are again of utmost importance when it comes to oil and natural gas industry, where these silicon carbide seals are used. Right? So diamond is wear resistant, it is radiation resistant, it is also corrosion resistant. So you make a coating out of it, and then it doesn't corrode even in the harshest of acid environments. And one of the societal applications that we have a startup with all of these achievements. We have a startup in our research park. You're welcome to visit our IT Madras. And our IT Madras research park is a big revolution. It gives us, it provides us an ecosystem to take the background research to industrial level applications. And one of the greatest things that we stumbled upon the last 10 years of our research is the ability of diamond, dope diamond, that could be used as an electrode for water treatment. We contaminate water with textile and pharmaceutical waste. A lot of water bodies are contaminated with effluents. With these effluents, we contaminated water, and we try to find solutions to clean up water. So electrochemical oxidation is a very common process that is used to clean up water. Then what we have found is diamond-coated electrodes provides the best solution in terms of the speed with which you can purify water from textile, especially pharmaceutical contaminated waste. There's a lot of influence. We got some samples from a very small unit from Chennai, and this small unit itself produces 150 tons of wastewater per month. They do have some plans to treat this water, but these are all outdated technologies. So one of the best solutions is to use diamond coatings for water treatment. So plenty of applications. So we deal with all this, all that we do in the lab level, we translate into industrial applications. We work with some of the big industries in Chennai and in India, QB, Tube Investments Limited, Titan is again a big Tata company. We also work closely with defense. You know, some of the coatings that we have developed good for the hypersonic missile technologies developed by defense. Okay, so all of this homegrown diamond technology for industry and defense has won us. We were the #1 winners in this Dare to Dream competition instituted by the Prime Minister of India from about 1,200 entries. 16 were called for final presentations, and our proposed technologies on diamond was chosen as the best one. In fact, we got the award twice, 2019 and 20. In 2021, we didn't submit our application because we wanted to give others a chance. Just kidding. Okay. So, about the India Center for Lab-Grown Diamonds, with all this, I think if you Google search, I think not only in India, around the world, we are probably one of the few groups working so intensely, passionately on diamond-based technologies. So the government of India approached us because there is this Atmanirbhar Bharat, Make in India mission call, where India wants to be #1 country in producing quality diamond, of course, gem quality diamond. But what I told them during our discussions is that you're looking only at one part of this big picture. Once we have all these technologies, we can use this diamond for a large plethora of applications, especially the semiconductor industry, the future electronic industry. You know that all the electronics that we use are based on silicon, gallium arsenide, right, and gallium nitride. For example, the white LEDs are made of gallium nitride. But the future electronics are all going to be dependent on diamond-based technology. You can't say that there's a direct replacement, right? You need to integrate the existing applications with other diamond. So this summarizes everything. Today's 5G wireless network technologies, the next technology that we are looking forward to, that is 6G, where gallium nitride is used. Gallium nitride is deposited on silicon carbide. But the problem is, these base station devices that make us use the 5G network, they get heated up because of microwave propagation. They get heated up to the extent that the surface temperature of the device reaches 10 to the power of 3 watts per centimeter square. That is the heat flux that you see on the surface of the sun. That means what happens? The device gets completely destroyed. So what is the alternative? The alternative is you need gallium nitride as a useful device, but then at the same time you need to do the thermal engineering. And the thermal engineering can be done by replacing silicon carbide with diamond. But you need very good quality diamond on which gallium nitride could be grown. And the last one, I mentioned about it, diamond envy centers. The future of quantum computing is all going to be based on how you can incorporate these defects after defects and all that. Because all the color that you get in diamond is because of the incorporation of defects. Because we talked about 2A diamond, which is completely devoid of any defects, but without defects you do not see color in that. This is another thing I want to tell you. We came across many people asking us to evaluate their samples. You can put color in any crystal. You take a pure crystal, you just irradiate it with gamma rays or electrons, right? You induce certain amount of defects in that crystallines. And these defects become responsible for coloration. That's how you get color. So all colored crystals are actually defect crystals. But then you need to control them to the extent that you do not lose the identity of the material. But we're seeing that some of the diamond samples that are colored do not possess the diamond structure anymore because of the lack of knowledge of people as to how much of dosage should be given before the material loses its identity as a diamond or a larger. That's where research becomes very important. That's where researchers like us should take our help in promoting such great technologies to the next level. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor. That was very exciting, very enlightening. And as a scientist, I'm fascinated by the material science of diamonds. So I'm going to ask questions from the commercial applications and technology. I think Arnav will be asking much more questions based on a diamond company's perspective as well, so to understand the future. And so the first question I've got, and it comes from Ahmed, he's not here at the moment, so I'll ask it for him. He finds to buy PlayStations. You've heard about the gaming centre that the DMCC is opening. And the PlayStation is quite big because it's all to do with heat dissipation. When you've got the processing, computing processing going as fast as that, you've reached Moore's law, you've reached the limits of silicon carbide chips, etc. How long is it going to be until we get diamond chips into our computers, into our quantum computing in the semiconductor space? How long do you think that's
So, using diamonds with NV centers for quantum computing, the work has been going on for almost a decade now. But to use an NV center induced diamond, you need to create a certain number of defects in a crystallographically aligned manner. People have been able to make few bits out of NV centers, and then to get 64 of them aligned together to make what is called a decent chip, that will take a few more years.
Right. So we're still a few years away from the diamond age.
Exactly.
Having a diamond chip in my phone.
Yeah, that's it. But when it comes to heat dissipation, we need not worry about getting diamond in a crystalline form, in a way that you look at diamond as a gemstone quality diamond. It can be a coating, and this coating can be what we term as polycrystalline. It has large number of small crystallites agglomerated together, giving rise to a layer. That is sufficient for us to remove the heat from the device.
So it doesn't need to be crystalline.
It need not be crystalline. These are small crystallites. So already the company is using silicon. Silicon is used for making CMOS devices, right? Yeah. So it's silicon and diamond or vice versa. A diamond is also used as heat sinks. This has been already there. Heat sink application, it's already there. But when it comes to quantum computing applications, we have a long way to go.
Okay. When you talk about polycrystalline, we talk in the diamond industry most about monocrystalline diamonds. So I'll pass over to Arnav to ask any questions about from a gem quality perspective.
Well, thank you, Professor, for your insights. I think today was supposed to be a lab-grown diamond symposium, and I think 80% now will be focused on these body jewelry applications. And thanks to you, we've heard a lot of other things. You know, what has resonated throughout the entire day, especially in the beginning, was a kind of pricing war. That's because we treated lab-grown diamonds as an alternative to natural diamonds or an extension natural diamonds, again to be used in similar areas and similar fields. And the supply glut compared to the demand has been really the reason why this has happened. Now that you mentioned about all the other alternative uses for diamonds, how could the growers, a lot of the growers present here, how could they actually change their production to actually cater to those industries? Because I heard you even speak about a $350 billion marketplace. So how can we actually leverage that rather than create a glut in our current industry?
Exactly, that's what, the point is, lab-grown diamond for gem quality applications is only one part of the whole game. The morning talk, I think it's Toby's talk, he showed a beautiful 3-inch wafer picture of diamond. I'm not going to choose.
Where's my card?
No, it's like that.
It was 4 inches. Which is 10 centimeters of real currency.
So for electronic applications, that is what is required. And that takes a lot of effort. For me to declare diamond as an electron grade material, I need the impurity levels less than 1 parts per billion. Right? So that's where a lot of research efforts have gone in. There are some companies that are doing a great job. Diamond Foundry is one, Element 6. There's also this Japanese company that make good quality C-grade EDP, C-grade diamond, electronic grade diamond. But I think their focus is probably, they have a vision to see diamond as the next generation material. So a lot of efforts must have gone into the research aspects, a lot of investment is required. Without that, you can't reach those levels. Growing a diamond of 1 centimeter square thick, you cut it into a nice crystal, put it in one of these nice looking ornaments. I think that's not a part. But if you want to go to those technologies, a lot of effort in terms of research and money have to go. So that's where, if you people want to venture in, you should probably work with universities and institute people like us.
Thank you. Professor, you also mentioned multiple technologies actually. We've pretty much heard of CBD and HPHT in our area of business. I've heard you speak about HSCBD, MPCBD, and other such technologies. Do you think we need to change our technology for the use for other uses like electrodes or electronics or quantum, or is our current technology good enough?
For growing diamond as a gem quality crystal, you need MPCBD or HPHT. But one of the applications that I talked about, getting diamond as a coating material. For that, the best method is hot filament CVD. Because hot filament CVD can give you coatings on it and quality silicon metal. Right? But the problem is you can't extend it to getting electron grade or gem quality diamond because you're using a wire there, a constant wire. So you're inducing some defects into the diamond. So CVD process is a much cleaner process where you don't have a problem of contamination, but you do have contamination coming from the gases that you use. That's why the CVD grown diamond, if you do the growth quickly, right, to get more carats per day, you are putting more brown color into it. Then you need to take it to a HPHT unit and then treat it. But then if you want to grow electron grade or seed quality diamond, the whole growth process slows down. Because best crystals grow at a very slow rate. This is the norm of crystals. I think you know that. You know all the challenges.
Is there any take on the difference between a CVD grown diamond and an HPHT grown diamond? Is one better or not? I know it's not a question question a lot of us want answered, but I think it's on the minds of a lot of people.
Yes. Well, there's no, yesterday Pooja asked me this question. She also mentioned about hardness of HPHT diamond versus CVD grown diamond. But as a scientist, when you grow diamonds using CVD or HPHT method, you get the same refractive index, the same kind of crystal structure, diamond is diamond. CVD, HPHT are natural diamonds, are all diamonds, right? But the fact that, this I heard from, even in one of the seminars, somebody asked me that the hardness of HPHT diamond, grown diamond seems to be lesser than, because a diamond has the highest hardness. On a Mohs scale, it stands at 10. Whereas the hardness of HPHT diamond was measured at 9.5. The reason for that is, to grow diamond in HPHT, you need to use a metal precursor. Right? You have carbon source, and this carbon is subjected to extremely high temperature and pressure. Pressure is the key there. But then, in order to reduce the growth temperature, you also have a metal precursor. It's not metal, it's an incorporation of the metal particles inside diamond that reduces the hardness. One needs to optimize them. Right, the metal precursor is required to grow diamond. You don't want much of that metal to get inside the diamond lines. If you can do that, the hardness will be the same as what you get in silicon.
So, does that mean that HPHT, we have altered the diamond, as you mentioned earlier, that we are altering by inducing impurities or defects? So, has it been altered more than what it should have been?
Exactly. For the growth especially. See,
so is this still a diamond?
It's still a diamond, but the problem is, I use HPHT for two purposes. One is for treatment. I grow diamond, a piece of diamond using CVD, and I take it to the HPHT machine for treatment, because I want to remove color. That treatment, it's a finite process, maximum calibration process. You remove color, but then that process doesn't require a metal precursor to be present. But the other one, if you are using HPHT for growth, it's a 15-day long process. Exactly like CVD. But there you need to use a metal precursor. And there's a chance of that metal going inside the diamond lines. And you need to optimize it.
Interesting. So should the laboratories here actually look into that area to understand where, or again, standardize a definition for what a diamond stands for?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, as far as diamond growth is concerned, whether you get it from HPHT or CVD, there's no difference. Okay, so there's a lot of emphasis on optimizing the growth parameters. Is that?
So the Indian government's invested a lot of money in research and development, and I know a lot of companies, private companies, are also developing that, and as we heard from Tom, it's confidential, proprietary information, and won't be disclosed to the public. So you're in a unique position to be able to talk about this.
Exactly, we are addressing all those issues. Well, there are companies in India, they have a large number of CVD machines, they're making their own machines. They're also making the power sources, the microwave power sources. It's very impressive. But we have zero technology on HPHT.
Yeah. So on the technology of CVD, and we've heard, that as the new generations of machines go on, the price comes down, the efficiency comes on, the size of wafers, etc., comes up. How close are we to? Is that going to continue to develop, and are we going to get the cost of production even lower than it is at the moment? And for yields coming out of it, purity coming out of it, so how fast is that development happening?
I think that will happen in the next 3-4 years. So it's happening fast. But then, as the point that was discussed in the last panel discussion, traceability is an important issue. So one of the things that we are going to this is a great research topic for us. We need to mark diamond. Today you go buy a piece of gold, it is marked, you don't say the source where it is made. But there is also marking happening on diamond, but it looks like this is all surface marking. I was told that you get a diamond with a surface marking, and someone can even remove it. Right? So we need to mark diamond. This is an answer to the question on traceability. We need to mark diamond a little interior, a few microns inside the crystal. Not on the surface, but then a few microns inside. And that's a big challenge. We need to use special kind of lasers, nanosecond, picosecond, and femtosecond lasers, to write inside the crystal. At the same time, you do not destroy the diamond structure.
So this is Josephine's point that she was making earlier on about traceability being so important. And what you're saying is there is actually technological opportunities to mark the diamonds when they're grown. So when we talk about the multi-tier markets for sustainability, differentiations, etc., you're saying that that is possible?
That is possible, yes. That's one of the verticals that we're working on. And the second one is when we make these HPHT machines, right now the machines that we have, we really don't know what's happening. One of someone who came to us, this person said that, look, I have a couple of HPHT machines, but we load it with carbon powder and some metal. We don't know what's happening for 15 days. And after 15 days, when we open and see, we still see carbon inside, because there's a lot of thermodynamic process involved. So we are going to introduce artificial intelligence way of monitoring what is going on, the pressure monitoring, the temperature monitoring. Because over a period of 15 days, you need to absolutely read the pressure and temperature accurately. Any drop in that, your diamond, see, let's say your 4-carat diamond takes 15 days to grow, and if your parameters drop on the last day, all that has been grown during the first 14 days, your diamond converts back into carbon. There's a lot of thermodynamics involved.
So, Professor, a burning question in a lot of minds of our industry actually, is there going to be some point where it will be difficult to differentiate between mined diamond and the lab-grown diamond, because ultimately both are diamond? So, is there going to be at some point a way that there will be no differentiation possible? Do you think that's the possibility?
Finally, both are diamonds in terms of so-called crystal structure, refractive index, whether you have a lab-grown diamond, HPHT-grown diamond, or a natural diamond, everything is a diamond. But the natural diamond, I think GIA has charts clearly showing how to distinguish between. There are some differentiating factors. One is the natural diamond comes with H3 and N3 defects, which is not present in the lab-grown diamond. Okay? These are clusters that, look, natural diamond is formed 60 to 80 kilometers below the Earth's crust over millions of years. And then you see you have sustained temperature there and the pressure that is required to form diamond. Whereas in the lab-grown diamond process, HPHT, you are applying pressure and you know the exact composition of the precursor that you're using. You're also removing the pressure, then you know that now let me get my diamond. The natural process, that's not happening. It's not in our hands. There's a volcanic eruption after several thousands of years, and then everything comes to the Earth's surface, you then mine it. I think optically, there are some subtle differences between the lab-grown diamond and the natural diamond. But diamond is diamond.
Got it. And Professor, so the Indian government actually this year during the budget, the finance minister gave a large grant, a significantly large grant, mentioned our industry for the first time in a budget speech, and we were all proud of it. So what has the Indian government in their mind, and why do you think the lab-grown diamond industry so significantly? Why have they given so much importance to it?
I think Indian government wants to streamline the production of diamond growth in the country. Right? They want to know that from which particular machine a diamond that is present in the market has come out from. Right? So, and then look, if we come out with machines, CVD, HPHP, and if you grow diamond, we might have an in situ process of even marking diamonds. And then that way you know that yes, this particular set of diamonds have come out from this machine. That is what is meant by traceability. And in that process, that was their initial thinking. But when I presented all this about the great applications of diamond on the other side, they said that probably India would be a leader in producing seed quality diamond. But a lot of efforts need to go into that. That's why we have this money and a big research team, right? All of next 4-5 years efforts are going in that direction.
I'd like to open the floor up to any questions, just to make sure that we're continuing to participate, get the participation. So I can see a hand over there.
Good evening, Dr. Arnav. The question is addressed to you, and this is in continuation to what Arnav has said. Is it possible that maybe after a few years, the natural and lab grown will be indistinguishable? There are people, we are not experts, but we talk to a lot of people. As a journalist, it is my duty to do so. There are a lot of HTHT growers, even CBD growers. They say that, for example, Dusan Simic, who is based out of US, he says that a diamond which is grown by HTHT technology, once it is grown, then all they need to do is to change the molecular structure. And then later on, it will be indistinguishable. So there is a very interesting documentary, and in which even Tehma Spector has been quoted. He has said publicly that if a diamond cannot be detected, it is a natural. So is it possible that it might take a few years for the machinery which can detect even the molecular structure? But do you rule out the possibility that this cannot happen? Because it raises ethical considerations, ethical questions. While it is a triumph of human ingenuity, if you can do what nature took millions of years and we are doing it within a few weeks. So what is your take on this?
I have a very simple answer to that, because the scientific answer will take a long time for me to explain spectroscopy, this, that, and all. If you see 2 10-year-olds, one of them was born out of test tube, the other one by the natural process, right? You don't see any difference between them. Both are humans. So it's almost like that. A natural diamond, which is in its purest form, and a lab-grown diamond, you grow it without defects. You cannot distinguish. But as I told you, because the natural diamond stays inside the ground for millions of years, right? It also depends on the place where it is grown for so many millions of years. There you have subtle differences between the natural one and the lab grown. And these can be distinguished. But we cannot generalize and say, yes, when you get natural diamond and compare it to lab grown diamond, they're all beautiful.
And I think there's a difference in growth structure.
No, but he talked about the molecular structure. The molecular structure of the natural diamond and the lab-grown diamond are absolutely similar.
Yeah, it's the carbon tetrahedron, but it's the growth structure that we can differentiate. There is a lot of machinery out there in the market that we can use to differentiate.
One burning question is always, we can put boron as a dope, as an impurity into diamond to get color. That easily can be done using the CVD growth. Nitrogen can be incorporated, but nobody knows how boron gets inside diamond in the natural diamond, right?
Yeah, because there's not that much boron in the diamond. So, my hat on. Please, a question over here. No? Yeah. We've got one question over here, and then we'll go to another question over here after. Please,
Sir, I would like to know if the grower of CVD diamonds, they all are type 2A. If they can succeed to get it done, the complete process at 1A, would it be possible to differentiate from iron?
There are today beautiful spectroscopy methods to identify all these flashing diamonds.
Only thing what I understand that once it goes for certification, the certification agencies are checking that whether it is type 2A or not. And then they are going for further tests. If it is 1A, I believe they would not go for further tests. Then it becomes a challenge for the industry.
But you know that, right? The natural diamonds that you get, only 5% of them are only pure. The rest of the 95% have all the pure-based intrusions. But it's a reverse of the CVD grown process. You can get a large amount of purely grown diamonds using the CVD process. You can always get the purity, required purity. But this depends on the rates at which the diamonds are grown, the quality of the gas that you use, the stability of the plasma. All these matters.
Based on existing technology today that most people work with in the gem quality industry, are there any other applications that are actually commercially viable today based on the technology that you have?
I told you, diamond in the form of coatings, it is just gone to the industry level now. Diamond coatings for aerospace applications, defense applications. Any mechanical moving part that industry doesn't want to replace this. For example, you take a drill. Right? Aerospace industry requires precise drilling and machining. Okay? And if one tungsten carbide based drill bit, say let's say it works for 2,000 hours, the industry wants it to go on for another 3 times more. And you can achieve that with those coatings. It's already there. And heat dissipation. It's easy to get those layers on the electronic components. Because diamond doesn't stick on all kinds of surfaces. Right? You need to work out on that aspect also. But it nicely sits on silicon.
And that sits with the existing commercial technology that gem quality people are using today. That's interesting.
I think, Professor, what he wanted to ask is, from CVD, the blocks that we are making today, can we commercially use them? Because all the coatings, I guess, is the diamond powder that is produced for decades. So
the CVD one, the crystals that you grow, they are good for quantum computing. If you can get controlled NV centers, the NV centers that would get you the pink color, it's because of what are called NV centers. It's the same NV centers inside diamond. I can use those diamonds for quantum computing. So there are companies that are selling NV center dome diamond crystals commercially. Yeah.
Good. So we have time for one more question.
But when it comes to electronic applications, you need these big wafers.
Yeah.
And that's the challenge. How can I get a 2-inch wafer, a 3-inch wafer of diamond? I need to have a diamond substrate which is that big. But then research is going in a direction where we are able to grow a large area of diamond on a non-diamond substrate. This is going to be possible. Give us a few years, we come up with a solution.
Professor, here. Thank you for letting us know so many multifarious applications of a diamond. One of them is coating on various substances. Now, all of us mostly are from the gem industry, and as you know, emerald is one of the softest gemstones. Okay, so is it by any chance possible to coat an emerald with a diamond? So what happens is,
This is a great idea. I was telling Arnav yesterday that someone approached us a couple of years back. We did a little bit of research for them. They make they call them diamond-like crystals.
diamond-like crystals,
Made out of silicon carbide. Silicon carbide is an equally hard material.
Alright.
And you can grow a crystal like diamond, bigger crystals, and then when you cut it with all those spaces, it exactly looks like diamond. But they want to coat diamond on top of a micron thick layer then sell them as, look, this is not a real diamond, but this is a diamond-coated diamond material. But unfortunately, the diamond coating was not so good on that particular compound.
So the intention is not to show the emerald as a diamond. The intention is to protect the softness of the emerald. So what happens is, you have a mobile cover. You want to drop the mobile, you drop the mobile and it is still intact if your cover is there. So I was just thinking out of the box.
It can be done. It can be done. It will also add value to the gemstone. I think in future, why do you worry about coating mobile glass? You have the entire glass made of diamond.
Yeah, possible.
So it will be scratch proof. Also,
that would be very useful for my children.
Imagine your watches. People use sapphire
as
a watch glass. And there's someone who asked me, can we make those 1-inch round, pieces of diamond?
It's questionable applicable to me these days, but can you use diamonds to coat a razor? So if you've got a razor for life?
It's done already.
It's already done, okay.
But these are called diamond carbon, DMCC.
Okay, DMCC.
And then, I think Gillette is already using the technology since many years.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, we still managing to
That's why we can use the same Gillette laser for
Good. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. That's great, thank you. Good. So, we're approaching the end, and the next session is really, when we launched this event, we said it was going to be participant driven. We had original plans of doing it in breakout rooms and getting everyone together in smaller groups. But that wasn't going to work. So what we're going to do now is we're going to open up the floor for discussions. We've been using the Slido app. So we have a few questions on the Slido app that I'm going to ask them to put up on the screen, which we'll just quickly go through. And then we're going to open up the floor for really comments from you about what did you want to take away from today, if there's anything that you think wasn't discussed that we can go through. So, first question was, do you think the expanding LGD market, and on the screen as well, the LGD market, probably South American markets, would decrease the impact of the pricing situation. So this is if you open up more markets, would the price, how would that change? I don't know if anyone's got any thoughts about that, but clearly we've got a situation at the moment where we've got a lot of production coming out, and we've got limited markets. I think we had a discussion from the panel arguing around about how to increase those markets and where they're going. So I don't know, has anyone got any questions, comments about this question that I'd like to add to it? My favourite one was when I was on the JCK show. They said 1% of the population can afford to buy diamonds. So if you get LGDs, one can go up to 2% and double the size of the market. And certainly, I think there is potential for growing with new markets. So we've heard about that. So the next question was, don't you think comparing the sustainability of lab-grown diamonds and natural diamonds is harming the overall business? There's much more bigger and unecological businesses out there. Well, I think we heard a lot from the sustainability panel, and that was a very, very good discussion. And I think that we've seen that sustainability is an important topic, but it's not the only important topic. And it's not the only thing which the retailers really are giving us feedback on for what the consumers want. Again, I'd like to open up the floor. Does anyone have any comments on that question? Yes, sir. Michelle.
I think transparency in general is what we require. It's not about a comparison, it's not about whatever, about one versus the other, it's just transparency. I mean, for the sake of the natural industry, the lab-grown industry needs to be transparent and vice versa. And I think we are we almost have this symbiotic relationship, and therefore both sides need to be transparent about what they do.
Good comment. Anything else? I kind of agree with you. I think that we heard about traceability being important, we heard about transparency being important, and I've always said the two markets can coexist and actually complement each other rather than compete against each other. Good. The next question is, what's the next probable market of LGDs like semi, electronics, etc., and what kind of marketing response are we taking as a family? Well, we just heard from Professor Rao about the new markets, and there's some fantastic new industries which are going to be disrupted as a result of this type of technology. So I think expect disruption and embrace it and look for the changes. The next question is, the lower price of LGD will expand the market, meaning more business for everyone. The industry needs to learn how to live with volume and lower profits. So any thoughts on this question? Obviously you all got used to the beginning of the lab-grown diamond industry where the prices were still quite strong, and the volume has come up and it's increasing, so we're all in a bit of a state of compression. But as Anish's graph showed, it's not going to be as bad as all that. Next question from the feedback was, the lower prices of LGD will expand the market, mean more business for everyone. But sorry, we've done that question. Can we scroll up a bit? Okay. What market segment of lab-grown diamond sellers are you targeting? So what is the current size of the lab-grown diamond industry? I think is the next question. Does anyone have figures on the size of the lab-grown diamond industry, Vishal? I'll look at you. The size of the lab-grown industry currently. I mean, we heard from Tony this morning that by piece it was about 50-50. Do you have any numbers on the size of the LGD market? Approximately 10 to 12% of the natural diamond business application. Of diamond jewellery market, so that's $85 billion market. So we're estimating probably around $10 billion. Yeah. I'm not sure. Okay, it's jewellery in trust and design driven by business compared to fashion, which is design based. So it's imperative for the lab-grown diamonds to create trust. How can we create trust for the lab-grown diamond jewellery? Another question that was asked. Now, maybe rather than go through these questions, let me just step back and just go through a bit of a summary of the day for what we heard, and then open it up because we want this to be an interactive dialogue. So we started off the day hearing from Diamond Foundry, hearing from Tony about how they see the industry. Then we moved on to the first panel around the industry economics, and we saw suppliers from China and India, we saw distributors, and we saw retailers. So there were some great insights from that session. Are there any questions from that session you'd like to pose any of the panelists, or if you feel that you've not heard? Please. Can we give this a chat microphone?
Thank you so much. My question is actually to Anish. In the beginning, he showed a slide which kind of mentions where we were on the curve. Where you mentioned that we probably somewhere on the downward sloping part of the curve, and we are moving towards enlightenment very soon.
the thing is, in the lab-grown industry specifically, would you say that the smaller sizes, the melees, the 1 and 2 carats, have already started to go on the enlightenment curve? Because already we kind of see they hit rock bottom quite some time back, and prices kind of keep shifting up and down there. Now it's no longer just a downward sloping curve anymore. So would you say that we are already there in those sizes, and that curve kind of depends on what sizes you grow more than just the total industry?
No, I was going to say that my first answer is actually I don't really have a clue. I think that my gut feeling on this, and there'll be kind of 2 remarks on this, and then I'll make the main point. My first thing is gut feeling is that in some lab-grown product categories, there is going to be further to fall just from an animistic view, and in others, it's going to be closer to the bottom than others. I don't think the market is going to be that segmented yet. I think eventually it will get segmented, like it has in, for example, natural diamonds. That's now become a highly segmented market. So many stakeholders here are in natural diamonds as well, and there you're witnessing different product categories moving in different directions. Don't think we're there with lab grown. But I do want to say that this trough of disillusionment concept is not only about price. It's about overall industry maturity. Have we got our thinking together? And probably we still need a degree of maturity of thought about how we tackle some of the issues that we've got in front of us. But I'm hopeful that today we've got some of the keys on the table. We've realized that we need to do some marketing, but we've realized that branding is definitely something that is going to need to be done. I'm not 100% sure if this is ended up being a detailed answer, that a bunch of fragmented small brands will do the job. Probably there'll be some consolidation somewhere along the line. We've seen Signet and other players coming in. Let's see how they evolve their branding proposition. So we've seen branding, we've seen some questions over marketing, and we've seen that there's still a long way to go in harnessing creativity. And rather than big versus small, it's going to be more about jewelry design and creating more creativity and creating more appealing consumer products. And unlike in natural diamonds, you're not going to be constrained as a jeweler in what you want to produce. So if smaller diamonds are going to be what creates attractive jewelry, that's great. If it's bigger diamonds, it's going to create attractive jewelry, that's great. If it's different shapes, different colors. Hard to tell, but I think we're probably not quite at that trough of disillusionment yet. Perhaps there'll be some churn in the market. Perhaps there'll be different business models. That's where what we've started to explore today.
Any other questions on that? I mean, one of the things I took away from the marketing and branding section was something Shah said, which is when you sell the component pieces, it's a commodity, but when you sell the finish, it's a piece of art. I think I said to many of you in the room when I was generating interest for this symposium, we don't want to be competing for the price of paint on the Picasso. We want to be selling the Picasso. When you buy the Picasso, you don't value it because of the value of the canvas and the paint. You value it because of the artwork. And I think that was a very valuable discussion which we had with the marketing and branding section. You look at the overall value. We're seeing much more integration now in the supply chain. That's a really important component which is coming. Any other questions for this? We've got about another 15 minutes to kill or to talk, so please feel free to open questions. Please, Arnav.
I think my question is more for this entire symposium. You know, today we came here to the symposium and we always keep talking about vertical integration. We've been speaking about this over the last 25 years since we have started the supplier of choice policy. And I don't, even after looking into it today, I feel that we're kind of in the same spot that we were 25 years ago. We have the growing community with its own issues and challenges, which the polishing side having its own issues and challenges, the marketing and the retail brands talking about what they're doing on the marketing front. There is no kind of real collaboration that we're even seeing, because I think we're trying to mimic the natural diamond industry. And I think that is the one takeaway I'm still seeing after today. We're actually doing the same thing again. And how do we break away from that?
Yeah, I think that's a very good question. And certainly, you know, it's a different product, it's a different technology, it's got a different supply chain dynamic. And those are the points which we've been trying to do. So I think every company's got to work out how does that work for their business and how are they going to use that to fit their system. But I think that's a really good point. Nero.
I have just listed a few points which in my view are differentiators between natural and lab-grown, just to continue on Arnav's point of view. I think there are a lot of differences on the model which people need to understand and appreciate. For one, like the natural diamond business has always banked on the banking sector. It is leverage debt which has played an important role. While here I think it is all about equity. Startups, companies who are able to attract valuations and get equity are probably going to be ahead in the game. Second is, I think it has been a family kind of closed circle business when we talk about natural diamonds. Whereas here we talk about collaborations, tie-ups, strategic initiatives, and all kind of open relationships, unlike natural diamond business. Third, I think natural diamonds is more about a commodity. While here we are talking about components of a final finished product, not as a commodity but more as a component. I think that is a major and therefore if we are able to de-link the pricing also from the rack pricing, the back pricing mechanism, I think that is a very important aspect. Again, natural diamonds is a push business. Whatever is mined has to be pushed to the market. While here it is the reverse flow. Whatever is required by the market should be produced, the designs and whatever is consumed, whatever the consumer wishes. So it is a pull system rather than a push system, which I think is a differentiator. Again, natural diamonds is about the manufacturing excellence, value optimization in the manufacturing process. While here it is all about designs. How do you really create unique designs which are a differentiator? Again, natural diamonds is about top line, but I think lab-grown needs to focus more on the bottom line, because top line is never going to be there. It is going to be much less compared to the natural diamonds. So here it has to, the focus entirely has to be on the bottom line. So I think there are a lot of such issues on the real business model itself. Until everyone is able to appreciate the model related aspects, I think there is going to be always a confusion within the trade and comparison between natural and lab-grown, what is better and why that model is not successful as it was in the natural, but that is not working in the lab-grown space.
Very good points, thank you very much. Anyone else want to put their points together, please?
Hi. Just a little bit off the general topic. Lab-grown diamonds now have been around for quite a few years. And this is actually the first time that so many of us have come together under one roof to discuss about our industry. But I've just noticed that we don't have any organization or body which would represent us anywhere. We have, the World Federation of Diamond Courses, there was multiple diamond clubs, and the Colorstone industry has their organizations. The lab-grown diamonds, we don't have anything for us yet. So just be suggested to everyone that if we could get together, maybe create an organization to represent us all together, and also open more ways for discussion and interaction amongst all of us.
Good points, thank you very much. There is the International Roman Diamond Association, who are strategic partners of this symposium. Unfortunately, they couldn't attend. We have some representatives, Tom, Vishal, and Amish, are associated with the International Diamond Association. Vishal, Tom, do you want to say anything about that organisation? Tom mentioned it in the speech, so maybe Vishal, or if you prefer not to, that's fine. But I think you're right. One of the things that this industry needs is leadership, because there are some common elements. We've talked about the nomenclature, we've talked about common issues today. We wanted to create a forum whereby people could have these discussions and get everyone in the same room, so that these discussions could be brought out. And we've aligned some, I think, great presentations and great speeches around that. So it's one of the next steps. From DMCC's perspective, our next steps is we're going to write up a thought leadership piece on this symposium, which will be published in about 6 weeks' time, not 6 weeks' time, towards the end of that. And then we want to convene a round table in Hong Kong to continue that discussion. But maybe one of the outcomes is this industry needs leadership. Yeah. Any comments? So I see Ahmed has arrived. So let me finalise. Any other comments from the audience that would like to be voiced? Your feelings about the symposium? Please.
So to Arnav's point, why we come together at this point is like we're still mimicking the natural diamond process, and we're still talking about creating a body. But what we said is as retailers, we don't want to sell components, and the reason is we don't want to sell it as a commodity is because we don't have buyback in this. In natural diamond, there's a wrap report where they can buy back and we can trade. Here, the reason we are not selling it as a commodity and as a finished product is because there is no buyback in the industry. So, if there is no buyback in the industry and we are not selling it as a commodity, then why would we promote growers and why would they want to brand it? So that's the reason. If you support us while you're buying it back, then we can promote it together. But when you selling it to us as a component and you want part of the branding, how would we brand it together and be one industry again? In natural, there is a trade. We don't have anything to give back, so why would we support you?
Good point. I mean, I think it's because people look at the diamond industry, see it as a replica of the natural diamond business. And what I hope we've demonstrated today is it's not the same. It's a technology-driven business. And so therefore it needs its own definition, its own identity. And the point about components, not selling the component pieces, but selling the final Picasso, I think that's a really valid point. And I think that's, if anyone takes away anything today, that will be one of the main points to take away. I'm actually just wrapping up. I don't know if you've got anything you want to say to finalise. You've always got a lot to say. Do we have the microphone to Amish? And then I'll be asking Ahmed and Salim to close.
Thank you, Martin. I think excellent that symposium. There's a lot to learn and share. I think a couple of things that we love to say is technology does not commoditize. Selling it as a commodity does. I think it's very, very important for us to realize that diamonds grown above the earth are a component to a finished product. We can create value, we can add value by design, marketing, branding, creating conversations, and taking it to the consumer. When we talked about luxury, we talk about how do we create value. I think a lot of times we get so lost in the conversation of the diamond itself. We need to move ahead of that and focus on the value we can create. And it's going to be very, very important. I think the industry is going to have to evolve because we're no longer in the diamond business, in the technology industry. Product will evolve, ways in the industry need to evolve. So that is going to be the most important thing.